Alright guys, welcome back into another preseason DFS video. We made it to week 4 of the preseason. That's right, we're only 1 week away from the regular season. It's going to be a good regular season. Going to be having the regular season DFS video coming out for week 1 on Friday, so look forward to that, guys. But let's get into this week for the preseason. We're going to be going back to a lot of the players we were targeting in week 1 just because those are the players that are fighting for the last roster spot. Most of the starters, if any of them, will be getting playing time, so we're going to be kind of looking back at what we looked at and learned throughout the whole preseason, but we're going to be targeting players from week 1 that were kind of in our player pool then. We're going to be attacking them on this slate. Some teams that have looked poorly on the defensive side of the ball are going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Miami Dolphins, and the Tennessee Titans. We're going to look to attack them on this slate and also coming up on next week's slate for the regular season. Alright, let's get into the quarterbacks though for this week. So for the slate, there's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks that you can attack. I'm only going to touch on a few of them, and I'll let you know the other quarterbacks I'm also going to be looking at right after this. So we're going to be starting out with Chicago Bears quarterback Tyler Bray. He's scheduled to play about a full game. If he doesn't play a full game, it'll just be like a couple series that he misses. He hasn't looked the greatest. He only has 1 passing touchdown on 68 attempts, and he's thrown for only 400 yards. So not the world's greatest, but once again, he's going to be playing about a full game, so I do like that. Next quarterback I want to touch on is Green Bay Packers' Tim Boyle. He has looked pretty decent this preseason. The biggest thing with him is that Brett Hundley just got traded. I don't think Kaiser's going to get that much run, so I think Boyle might see the full action. And then the next 3 quarterbacks, Chad Kelly, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, they're all going to be back quarterbacks that are playing about a half, but they've all looked good in the preseason. I think Josh Allen, he might actually get a full game's worth. It's like, why not? Nathan Peterman is most likely the starter, so why not just get Josh Allen more reps to maybe see if he could start? I don't think he will. But the last quarterback I want to touch on is going to be Ryan Griffin. He's just looked really good this preseason. It's going to be tough for me to avoid him. Jameis Winston is not playing. That was confirmed. So I do like Ryan Griffin. He should play about 3 quarters worth. Other quarterbacks that you could play if you want to, I think Brian Hoyer will get a lot of run. I don't think Danny Etlin's going to be a factor. Jake Rudock is another player I like. Ben Kurt, I don't mind him for the Falcons. You could also go with Josh Dobbs. He's fighting for that 3rd string quarterback position. He'll most likely not make the team. He should see about half a play. Kyle Allen for the Panthers, he's going to see a full half of play as well. Kyle Slaughter for the Vikings also should see about a half a play. Tyson Hill has been tearing it up for the preseason. Don't mind him. Mike White as well. All not bad options for you. I just touched on the main options that I'm going to be targeting. Alright, moving on to running backs though, guys. First one that we are going to touch on is going to be the top running back of the whole preseason so far, and that's going to be running back Chris Warren. He's just gotten a lot of reps so far in the preseason. It's going to be tough for me to avoid him, and he's looked good. Heck, later on in the season, he could be a guy that we might be targeting if Marshawn Lynch doesn't really pan out. So other running backs I'm going to be targeting are going to be Tyquan Mizzle and Ryan Nall. I think Ryan Nall is he's shown them what he's worth. I think Mizzle is the guy that's going to get the most run, and I do think he'll get about 10 touches. Gus Edwards for the Baltimore Ravens, he has seen like 10 plus touches in each game, so I really do like that. The Ravens are one of the teams that just love to run the ball in the preseason. Another team that loves to run the ball in the preseason is the New England Patriots. Fully expect Jeremy Hill and Ralph Webb to both get about 8 touches. I do not mind that. Mike Boone for the Minnesota Vikings as well. He has just seen a lot of, quality touches, and he's even saw like 6 targets in the passing game last week. So I do like that. He could, possibly catch one out of the backfield. Philip Lindsay for the Denver Broncos. He had at least 12 catches last week, so I don't mind him. Then you could also, one thing I want to touch on is the Atlanta starting running back, whoever that will be against the Dolphins. That's who you want to target. The Dolphins have given up 170 yards rushing per game, and they've also given up 7 total touches. I mean, guys, there's plenty of running backs that you could be targeting. Nick Chubb, he's gotten double-digit carries each of the last 2 weeks. Don't mind him. Amir Abdullah, they could be trying to showcase. Don't mind that. Trenton Cannon is actually a guy I really do like. The Eagles have given up the 2nd most rushing yards per game at 124. Don't mind that. Jalen Samuels has gotten 10 plus touches each of the last 2 weeks. I think they're kind of trying to figure out what they got in him. Capri Bibbs sure looked good last week. I don't mind him again this week. Wadley for the Titans you could go with. Nick Holley. He looked good week 1 for the Rams. John Kelly's kind of secured a spot for the Rams, so I don't think he'll be getting any more runs. So I think Holley could be a nice little option for you for the Rams. Bo Scarborough, he'll probably see about 9 rushing attempts. Really like Marcus Murphy for the Buffalo Bills. He's looked good so far. Trez Newsome, he's been a guy I've been targeting for the Chargers there at the running back spots. He's had double-digit carries each of the last 2 games, and he's turned in 35 carries into 110 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Don't mind that. Jaquan Gardner and Jeremy McNichols for the 49ers. I think those guys are another tandem that you should really be targeting. They're going to be seeing plenty of touches. They're going to be the only 2 active running backs for that team. And I think CJ Prosise for the Seahawks, I think he'll have a nice, safe floor for you. All right, time to get into the receivers for this slate. Going to start off with my number 1 guy this whole preseason. That's been Javon Wims. If you guys been listening, I've been hyping him up. It's no surprise that he's been the best receiver this preseason. I think I'm going to go back to the well with him again. So I do like that play. Marcel Altman for the Oakland Raiders. He's received 5 targets in the last 2 games, or actually the whole preseason, and he's been averaging 6.5 DK points the last 2 games. So I don't mind that. Pittsburgh Steelers, Damon Patterson, he did receive 10 targets in week 1. I think kind of more of the same will happen again this week, so I don't mind that. Brandon Powell is a guy that's seen at least 5 targets in each week of the preseason this year as well, so I don't mind that. I think Zystra for the Vikings is finally going to get some playing time. He only received 12 snaps last week, so I think they're kind of working him back into the thick of things, so I think he'll finally be able to get some run this week. And then Antonio Callaway for the Cleveland Browns. The head coach already came out and said that him and Baker Mayfield would be playing. They are going to be playing together, so I don't mind that as a stacking option. Now, he'll only probably play a half, so that's one thing you got to watch out for. Another receiver to go with is going to be Traquan Smith. My bad there, guys. For the New Orleans Saints, obviously he's looked really good. Heck, later on this season, we could be saying that this preseason was what caused him to become the receiver number 2 in that offense. I don't see that happening right away, but, it could possibly happen for him. All right, now time to get into the tight end and then also the defenses, mostly because there's only 3 of each that I'm mostly going to be targeting. This could change, don't have all the information right now. Playing time is going to be the success that you want to follow. So going to be going with Buffalo Bills tight end Jason Crum. He's a guy that, we were targeting throughout the preseason. He stood out earlier. Then he kind of broke through and had a good game last week, so I don't mind him. Rico Gathers is kind of another guy that fits that bill. Rumors are that he could possibly be cut this week. That'd be kind of surprising. He did have a good week last week. He saw 7 targets, which he turned into 5 catches and 30 yards, which is all right. And then Robert Tonyan for the Green Bay Packers. He's a guy that's caught a touchdown. He's fighting for a roster spot. He's kind of more of a receiving tight end. I don't mind him. I'm getting to some of the defenses. I'm mostly just going to be targeting these defenses that have been doing really well in the preseason, and that's definitely going to be the Baltimore Ravens and Oakland Raiders. They both really look good. Heck, the Packers were playing really well up until last week offensively. The Raiders sort of shut them down, so I don't mind that. And the Minnesota Vikings, they just kind of have an easier matchup this week, so I don't mind them as well. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate it. That's Week 1 DFS video coming out for you guys on Friday. Thanks.